This is Glambition Radio, episode number 222 with Cristy Nickel of the Code Red Revolution. Welcome to Glambition Radio. I am your host, Allie Brown. I'm an entrepreneur, mentor, investor, and mom of twins. I love thinking big, doing different, and exploring ideas that disrupt the status quo, especially when it comes to women, because we are rewriting the rules for leadership, business success, making money, and changing the world. And we're doing it with style. Let's go. So a few of the girls on my team were following this gal, Cristy Nickel, and they're saying, you got to get her on the show. She's a ton of fun. We've been doing her fitness challenges. She is just kick-ass. She's fantastic hair, and we must get her. And I said, so get her. And we have her. So today we have Cristy Nickel, who was a former pro boxer, top U.S. fitness trainer. She was named one of the top 3 most dangerous females on the planet by Ring Magazine. I don't think I'd want to fight her in a dark alley or a well-lit room or anywhere. But you got to love that she has made for herself a big business name as well in less than 3 years. Fast forward to her business, got off of food stamps, which she was on at one point. Just such an amazing story. You're going to just love her no excuses attitude. And speaking of no excuses, I have to tell you how blown away I am that for our planned live in-person September meeting for the Trust, my network for 7- and 8-figure women entrepreneurs, the majority of them have RSVP'd yes, that they are going to come join us live. Now, of course, we will have a virtual option for those who are not comfortable traveling or can't travel at this time, like many of our international members. But I am so excited. I'm so excited because I am craving to be around these women, and I know they're craving to be around each other. And I have a few of them saying, listen, we don't care if we have to drive or parachute in or whatever it takes, but we're going to be there because this group reminds us who we are. And right now, ladies, the world needs your power. They need you to power up. And I know you've been stuck home with the kids. You've been trying to keep the business going. You may have been dealing with things you didn't even see coming. But the world needs your leadership. And this group is for leaders. So if you or another female leader you know is craving more powerful connections, elevated conversation, and a modern platform for connecting with other high-performing women globally, but with this intimate, tight-knit feel. I mean, a few of them are starting a company together, the joint ventures happening, the connections. It's just amazing to watch. Go to jointhetrust.org if you or someone you know is at that level and saying, you know what, I need something different this year. I need something different for the rest of 2020 and going into 2021 because it's a new day and there's stuff coming at us we didn't see coming. And I would love to consider you should you be a good fit. Jointhetrust.org. Before I introduce Cristy, quick shout out to 2 reviews we got on Apple Podcasts. The first is, Allie is always ahead of the curve. This is Mel Larson, Dream Project Coach. I've been listening to Glambition Radio forever. Allie has such extensive experience in the world of business that seriously, you'd be mad not to follow her. She's not just an excellent interviewer, she's actually been there, done that, so she knows exactly what goes on behind the scenes in building a high-level business. You can read the rest of her review on Apple Podcasts. And Wow by Fabulous Alice. I'm a first-time listener and I was blown away. She gets right to the point with useful content, guests, and advice that can be applied in everyday life immediately. I'm hooked and binge listening now. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we always appreciate when you take a minute to leave us a review. It helps with our rankings and it helps, most importantly, other women find us and this different conversation that they've been craving. Now, get ready for the only guest I have ever asked the question, how does it really feel to beat the crap out of somebody? Cristy Nickel. Cristy, I'd like to know where you are right now.
I'm sitting in my office in my beautiful house in Boise, Idaho. I got the lights turned on. I look good. My makeup is done and I'm feeling good. But yeah, Boise, Idaho, beautiful. I'm from Idaho. So yeah, I'm sitting right here in my living room in my office.
Tell me more about Idaho in general. Like, tell me about the Idaho experience.
Yeah, I can sing to you the Idaho State song that I learned in grade school. No, I won't do that. But the whole Idaho experience, everybody thinks that because we're the potato state, that everybody grows potatoes. But potatoes actually only grow in a very small part of southern Idaho. Mostly, we are mountains. And it's the most gorgeous thing. We're basically a conservative state across the board. We're about 1 million people in the whole state of Idaho. And it's the best kept secret. So there's people from all over that are moving to Idaho. And of course, us natives, we're like, Idaho's full. Idaho's full.
Yeah, totally.
I know.
I'm going to tell everyone in the pre chat, I'm like, we're thinking where to spend the rest of our summer. Idaho. How about Idaho? Yeah, and you're like, no, back off. All you Corona. No. Don't bring your virus.
Right. No, right.
Things have been fine. So your potatoes aren't really on brand for you. That's why I was like, okay, high carb. I don't know if that's Cristy.
No, it's not. In fact, during weight loss mode, we do take people off of starches like potatoes, yams, sweet potatoes, things like that. And people are like, I can't believe you're from Idaho and you don't eat potatoes. Look, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just they'll slow down your weight loss. So we just take you off of them for temporary. But I do eat potatoes. Totally.
Okay, that's good to know. Or you're not anti-potato. Yes. It's all timing. It's all timing. Tell me, okay, timing. So let's go back. So first of all, I want to share. So the gals on my team, I have 2 gals on my team, both named Erica, which you can imagine gets confusing. Mm-hmm. And they both were talking about you, saying that they've been following you and they did one of your challenges. And they're like, you should have this gal on the show. So yes. I take a peek and then I start watching your stuff and I'm just like, we got to get her on. This would be a great conversation because I love your background and I'd love to start going back. Like the boxer thing is most fascinating to me. Like I've always wanted to know, what would it feel like to punch the crap out of somebody? I'm admitting that publicly. We've all thought it.
Yes, right.
We've all thought it. Okay, I've just never done it.
You think it, and so you have the guts, Allie, to say what everybody else is thinking. So backing up, the way I even got into fighting was because I was raised very poor in the mountains of northern Idaho. My dad was a preacher and our local sheriff, and we just didn't have any money. We had a big farm, a big ranch, and we had horses and pigs and chickens and cows and everything, and it was a really great childhood, but we had absolutely no money. So when I got out of high school and I wanted to go to college, I desperately wanted to be a nurse. I love, even to this day, I love nurses. I just love the whole profession. I had to pay my way through college. Well, I'm bartending, I'm waiting tables, I'm just trying to scrape by, and I take a local boxing class. Well, there happened to be a boxing coach that was watching me, and he said, hey, how long have you been boxing? I said, about 44 minutes. And he said, well, you have a propensity for fighting. And I was like, pal, whatever. I'm in nursing school. I don't care about fighting. And he said, well, you could actually earn money with every fight. And this is legit boxing, it's 6-ounce gloves, 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds, legit. And I was like, I didn't even care. I wasn't a boxing fan. I just needed money. So I started fighting literally to pay for my dinner. I had no idea that what I was getting myself into, I was going to become one of the top 3 most dangerous females on the planet, that I was going to have 15 pro fights over the course of almost 8 years and world titles and my own MTV show, my own magazine covers. I had no idea because boxing is 50% how well you fight and 50% how many tickets you can sell out. And because men are the major ticket buyers, they're the ones that you don't want to have 2 ugly girls go at it. If you're pretty and you can fight, you actually get more fight opportunities because no dudes want to see 2 ugly chicks, duking it out in the ring. And it is a terrible sport. I mean, it's all political and it's all business and whatever. Sex sells in boxing, so you got to look good. You got to be able to talk good and look good and still fight. And I didn't even care. All I cared about was getting myself through college. And so it became huge, but it was never intended to become huge.
Was there must have been something you enjoyed about it, though. You could have done other things to get by. Did you enjoy the physicalness of it, or did it get out stress, or was it just something different? You obviously like standing out. Because I came from I was in a real abusive relationship when I was 18, and it was a horrible, horrible guy for 9 months before I finally got myself out of that one. Everybody wants to think that, well, Cristy got into boxing because of her abusive relationship. No, I got into boxing just to earn money. So I have no really cool backstory on that. It was simply just paying for my dinner. Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, you're talking 3 to 5 hours a day, 5 hours a day training. It's, you have sponsors. You don't own, when you got sponsors, people think, well,
I'm sponsored by Miller Lite or I'm sponsored by Red Bull, which were my two big sponsors. And that's so cool. It's not cool. You don't own yourself. You do what they say. You don't change your hair color. You are under contract to perform well as an athlete. It's like a performing monkey, and that's what you do. The fans don't care. They just want a good show. Nobody really cares about you. They just care about just seeing some blood, and they want to see a good fight, and they want to watch somebody get hurt. So it's okay. I think it's a pretty nasty sport. My nieces and nephew, they thought that was so cool. Aunt Cristy, we want to be professional boxers. I was like, no, Aunt Christy's had 5 broken noses. When I fought in Beijing, my nose came off my face and I had swallowed 3 quarts of blood. I put my girl in a coma. I had to have operation on my face. So it is a really terrible sport that you need to really know what you're doing before you get into.
Okay, you have us sold.
Yeah, right. I know it.
All right, good thing, because I was going to go off and become a boxer.
Yeah.
No, but I love I just would always wonder what that feeling like. There must be a powerful moment.
Yes.
But more importantly, what was the powerful moment you decided to move on? And then did you go right into training then?
I always was a personal trainer. I kept the personal training going. I've been in the health and fitness space for 25 years. And so I kept that whole thing going on the side because that's easy to do around my boxing schedule. I fought at Madison Square Garden. And right before my own training session, I was training clients. And so I knew. And the great thing about boxing is you can take a hedge fund manager. You can take a female hedge fund manager. And she would come into my boxing gym when I lived in New York City. And I could just watch her. All I would have to do is say, push her up against the corner of the ring and say, this is life. This is your boss. And I would just shove her and just say, this is life beating you up. This is your box telling you that you're not good enough. This is your mom telling you that she wished you would have gotten married. And what are you going to do about it? And watching that female come up out of her shell and just start beating the crap out of me and saying, get off of me, and then you can watch people change. That's what I really loved about personal training. As I taught them to fight, they would find their own confidence. It wasn't about the boxing. It was about having the confidence to defend themselves or to be strong. That was so great about that.
Okay. So tell us about the evolution. What you've created now, fast forward, let's just to give everyone an idea, is like this online empire that is much different from how you started. I heard that originally you would actually, clients could pay you to come to parties with them and keep them away from the appetizers. Is that true?
Right. Yeah, that's true. All I would do is just stand next to the snack table. And I made sure that, it started off, I didn't understand. I created the Code Red lifestyle because I started getting fat. And here I was an elite level athlete.
When you were a trainer. Really?
Exactly. And I was elite level athlete. I still hold records for one of the fastest females on a bike, even in France and even different parts of the world that I've traveled. I am really a good high level, elite level athlete, but I started getting fat and I couldn't understand it because that's what we were always told. We were always told, you just need to exercise more. Well, I'm exercising 5 hours a day. I'm going to blow out a knee. So when I changed my diet, I realized exercise had nothing to do with weight loss. So I changed my diet. Then I realized, well, shoot, if exercise has nothing to do with weight loss, I can create the Code Red lifestyle and anybody can lose weight, even if you're in a wheelchair or missing a leg. And so then I got out of personal training and transitioned only into weight loss.
Tell me about, you were obviously eating differently before.
Right.
What are some of the shifts that you made that are part of the Code Red principles?
I thought that it didn't matter what I ate if I was exercising so much. So I would eat pasta and peanut M&Ms and just sugar and carbs. And I was like, I need the carbs because I'm getting ready to ride 66 miles, and I just justified it away. But my stomach hurt and I felt terrible and my skin was broken out, my cellulite, I was just so fat. My gut was hanging over my belt. And so with Code Red, this is what I ate. So that's why I created the lifestyle based around how it worked. I ate meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat. So I eliminated the sugar and the crap carbs. I took myself off of Diet Coke. I drank water. I started getting my sleep. And that's when the weight just poured off of me. And maintaining my weight is 100% just eating the proper human diet.
Yeah. I know you've been in the fitness industry since the 90s. And I want to flash back to while you were boxing, I was teaching step aerobics.
Yes.
The antithesis, you would have beat the crap out of me.
Yes.
And I was in Boston, but I remember, I'm going back to that moment because I remember teaching, I could teach 3 aerobic classes. And then I thought it was okay to go downstairs to finagle a bagel and I would get 3 pumpkin bagels with, as long as it was the fat-free cream cheese, right? Remember the 90s was all about anything's okay if it's low fat too. And I think that's where we started. Those of us who are in our 40s now, we got into some bad habits back then because we were taught that like, as long as it's low fat, it's okay. That was something else we all had to undo.
Right.
Over the years, right? And now it's about the healthy foods, healthy eating, like real food, which I love. And that's worked for me as well.
And definitely on Code Red, we do not demonize a certain food group because that just creates a diet mentality. But yeah, low fat is one of the top 3 biggest lies in weight loss. Number 1 biggest lie is you got to exercise to lose weight. Bull crap. Number 2, you got to eat low fat. No, don't eat low fat. And number 3 is that you have to eat frequently. No, that'll beat up your system. Don't do that either. So low fat made us very, very sick and fat. And we're undoing decades of damage from all that baloney.
And when did you realize that your philosophy and who you were and how you worked with clients could then be leveraged to an online experience? You know, there was a moment that I know you went from, okay, I can train one-on-one, or I can turn this into a real business.
Yeah. I rented a little office downtown Boise because I didn't know any other way to do. I created the Code Red lifestyle. I knew I had a great product and I didn't know the power of the internet. And of course I was on the internet, to check Facebook and to check the weather, but I didn't understand anything about internet marketing. I didn't know how to monetize. I didn't know the meaning of the word monetize. And I'm sitting in my downtown Boise office and I'm just waiting there 14 hours a day for people to just walk in the door. And I could only see one client at a time because I wasn't doing it efficiently. And so a lady walks in and she hears about me, referral, and she ends up losing 55 pounds in 5 months. But 1 month through her program, she was 10% of her body weight down. And she said, I've never in my life lost so much weight naturally without feeling hungry and without diet or exercise or pills or shakes or powders or potions. And she said, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a business coach and you're doing this all wrong. The world needs to hear what you have to say. And so she's the one that single-handedly transformed my entire business. And that's how I went from being on Idaho State food stamps, which I was when she walked in my office, to 10 million in 3.5 years.
Wow. Did it surprise you? Like, tell me what about the journey and transforming what you knew into, knowledge and information and experiences.
Oh, surprise. No, it was completely shocking. I had no idea. I had to blindly trust her. And she didn't change the program at all. The program is still the same today as it always was because real food is the way we should be eating. But she changed the method of delivery. And I did not know. She said, well, you need to, this is something you repeat every time to every client. Let's put it on a video. That way you don't have to repeat it every time. Like she streamlined different things. Oh, it was a complete shocker. I mean, every day I work with her and I still work with her today now 4 years later. Every day that I work with her, especially in the beginning, was a total trust. It was like, I don't know how this is going to work, but I trust you. And that's what the biggest thing about, you got to get business coaches. You got to get people that know, you got to get help because people are like, well, I got this. No, see, you don't got this. You need help, ladies. You need to be able to get someone who's been there, done that, who knows how to reach millions and make millions. And that was Natasha for me.
Wonderful. I love hearing these stories because it could be as simple as a shift in awareness to like a possibility you didn't even realize. And then it's like, you can't go back once that's shifted, right? And you see like, wow, I could do this. Do you still train clients personally at all?
Not one-on-one. I do have a VIP program that I open up once or twice a year, sometimes when I feel like it. It's a real high-ticket item, and I'm a lot more one-on-one with these guys. But my gosh, I mean, anybody that's listening to this right now and you have clients, which is probably pretty much most of you guys listening to this, you guys know that clients take a piece of your soul. So you gotta make it worthwhile. They do. They kind of just take a piece of your soul. And so you gotta like, how much of my soul am I willing to give up here? And so I really try to guard myself nowadays. I've got a staff of 61. We've got certified coaches. We have leaders. We have a nice big Code Red staff. And I really try to divvy out the work to them. It's one of my top 3 rules is outsource, outsource, outsource. And I really try to divvy up. I do keep just a couple of VIP clients for myself, but only if I know they're not going to eat my lunch.
Yeah, totally. Isn't that great though? Especially as you get older and you start building your business, having that discernment to knowing like exactly the clients you're going to love and the ones you're like, you know what, why don't you do the group program or let me refer you to someone else. You just know,
Yes.
Who is going to actually light you up. Going back and looking at your career, I mean, there's a lot of this no excuses attitude. You use that with your clients as well in fitness. In your career, Cristy, there's a lot of this no excuses attitude. You've used it on yourself. You've used it with your clients. Tell me about your views right now on, women entrepreneurship, the, opportunities, challenges in what's going on all over right now.
77% of this country is overweight. And part of it is we don't know what we don't know. We've been taught wrong. We don't know what we don't know. But part of it is the bullcrap excuses that everybody is just allowing themselves to make and getting out of the rules. So I have a zero tolerance on this. You want to be fat or do you not want to be fat kind of a thing. As far as the women entrepreneurs, boy, I do not accept any bullcrap excuses from female entrepreneurs, guys. This is not the 60s, the 50s, even the 70s. So much has happened. There's so much opportunity out there. If you have this baloney attitude of, the man's got me down, and I can't grow I have got no time for that. I don't even share the same space with somebody like that. And ladies, you are not going to grow. You're not going to be able to spread your message and grow your company if you keep allowing yourself to have these excuses. There's nothing holding you back. Absolutely zero. So I don't do well with the baloney, even with Code Red, and I don't do well with the other entrepreneurs or females out there saying, well, this is why I can't grow my Mary Kay business, or this is why I'm stuck being a dental hygienist instead of being a Rodan and Fields rep, or whatever the heck your dream is. No, there's so much out there to help you along. You got to get your poop in a group, get your kids to bed on time, and answer your emails, go live on Facebook, sell your products, and stop with your baloney excuses.
I love this. Now, since you grew your business so quickly, were there any bumps in the road? Were there growing pains? Tell me about the evolution of the business, because it sounds great, but I'm just curious.
One of my biggest top 3 rules to growing and I've been asked to speak. I spoke at Funnel Hacking Live in 2019 to a group of 6,000 entrepreneurs. And one of my top 3 rules of going from food stamps to 10 million is that you got to get a business coach. And because I have 2 business coaches, I was able to stay out ahead of the growing pains, and they could see what was coming down the pipeline and that kind of thing. Now, of course, I made mistakes. Oh my Lord. I mean, I shared a really embarrassing mistake in Funnel Hacking Live in front of all those people that, of course, there are things, the bumps in the roads of, trying to fire somebody or trying to staff problems will really take a lot out of me. I was smart enough to bring on a CFO to watch my back as far as taxes go and communicating with the bookkeeper and accountant. So I've tried to bring on people at the advice of my business coaches, bring those people on to help you out as you grow. Even if I didn't see a need right then, I knew by the end of 4th quarter, there was going to be a need for some help. So I think that what kept me from having major growing pains was taking the advice of people smarter than me and getting out ahead of it with better systems, customer service systems, better funnels, better IT techs, better teams. Even though it didn't seem like I needed them right then, I needed them in the future, and being able to get out in front of it, it saved us from having those growing pains.
Do you have some family working for you too? I think I read.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I do have family. My sister has an RN with an MSN, and I got her. She was teaching at Texas Tech, and she's incredible. And she'd never been a COO before, and neither of us have ever really done this. And I got her to come on board 3 years ago, and that was really scary because her salary was huge. I mean, it was more than I was making, and I was like, oh Lord. And I brought her on. And then my mom, of course, all of our moms think that we're wonderful. And they're like, my mom's been there from the day one when we were shipping T-shirts at 1 a.m. from my living room floor, stuffing envelopes myself. And I did bring my mom on as well as the customer service manager.
Oh, wow.
And she manages all of our customer service. And then I have my other little sister, and she works in customer service too. But that's a real tough one, having family. You got to be able to correct the family members. They have to be able to follow policy and procedure like everybody else does. Nobody gets preferential treatment. So family is tough, but we make it work.
Because usually when I'm working with the women entrepreneurs I work with too, and they mention, oh, I just hired my sister, I'd be like, stop, let's really talk about this, because the mistake they make typically is it's just kind of all mixed together. Yes. It sounds like you had real frameworks or boundaries.
Well, it's a tough one. I would advise the same thing. I would say, nah, I don't know. Let's stop. Let's think about it. But sometimes your family is the only people that believe in you before you become somebody. And they're the only ones that are willing to work for $500 a month, And so you have to kind of get help where you can. And then, of course, when you make it big, then you don't want to just leave them in the dust, for some professional. So it's a tough one. But boy, I would avoid it if I could. I think I lucked out here because we're making it work and everybody works so hard and they believe in Code Red, but it can be a real source of stress, ladies.
Yeah. Thank you for your honesty. Yeah, because then you can't separate it then when you're hanging with the fam, right?
Right.
Now your husband's
Exactly.
not working though with you.
He is my CFO.
Oh,
My husband was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company for his whole career, and he retired in his 40s, and he went to Harvard. He's so incredibly smart. So I got him to come on board as our CFO in a paid position. Yes, I have to pay him. And he handles all of I can just see in my other room, there is a whole bunch of my profit loss report is spread out on the kitchen table, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff highlighted. So I know he's going to go over that with me.
You got the whole family working here.
Yeah, we're all working for the cause.
I love it.
Right?
Well, I got my kids. My kids are only 7. I have twins, but they're on payroll. They're helping. They're learning about the business. They're helping. Filing and organizing, and I want them seeing that. I want them being part of that.
Good.
Tell me, just before I ask my final question, can you tell us, Cristy, what do you think is the major? If you had to pick one major roadblock for the women you see trying to get healthier, lose some weight, especially, as we get into our 30s and 40s, what would be that number one challenge?
The number one challenge across the board, without a doubt, that I see with women that you described, sleep.
Really?
Women have this mommy martyr bullcrap attitude, like it's a badge of honor to cut low on sleep. Like, well, I stayed up all night worrying about my kids. Well, listen, wait a minute. Why is your 14-year-old son staying up till 3:00 in the morning? No, you don't pay rent. You get home. Like, ladies, lay down the law in your household. You are not their friend. You are their mother. You call the shots, and stop letting your kid run the show. And women do that. What I'm seeing is women do that, and then they're up all night long. Well, listen, sleep is the number one biggest factor when it comes to weight loss and good health. You ain't sleeping, you ain't losing. So ladies, you're going to have to get your sleep. And no matter what, almost every single woman I work with, they are not getting enough sleep, and they don't have good bedroom boundaries. They don't have good boundaries with their kid. They're letting their 2-year-old sleep with them and kick them in the ribs all night long. They're doing laundry till 11:30 at night. Like, it's a hot mess. So number one, without a doubt, ladies, you've got to get in bed, get the kids bathed and in bed, put down some boundaries, start saying no, and get that sleep.
I love hearing that. Isn't it interesting, as you're helping people make one lifestyle change, anything that's incongruent with that will come up to the surface. And you'll be able to see immediately,
Yes.
Oh, well, this is related to something else. You got to fix this and you got to fix this. And it's not really just about weight loss, is it?
No, it really isn't. The weight loss is so far down the list. Getting your poop in a group, because there's so many things that are affected by a weight problem. You're losing intimacy with your spouse. You and your husband hadn't had sex in 6 months. You don't want to go drop your son off at the soccer practice because you don't want to walk out in front of all the other parents. There's so many things. Your joints hurt. You don't feel good. You're wearing LuLaRoe all the time. It's the only thing that fits. Like, your garden is completely, because you used to love to garden. Now you don't even want to go outside. Your dog doesn't get walked. Every area of your life suffers when your weight is out of control. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. But once you start getting control of your weight, start drinking your water and getting in bed at a decent hour, turning off Instagram, and start controlling your sleep, then every area of your life levels up. Your parenting, your relationship, your business, everything levels up. The way you look at people, everything gets better. You're going to have to get your health under control. You can't be an effective mom or an effective business owner if you're out of control in that area.
Yeah. I'm a big sleeper. I always have been. I think there was a time that I was embarrassed to admit that. And now I tell my team even knows. I'm like, that how much rest I need, because it's, especially with what some of us women are trying to do and what we're handling, just people have no idea on the outside. Yes. This is great. Cristy, tell us where we should be following you, what you have to offer. Let's give us your commercial, and then we'll go into the final part.
I have my own podcast, which is ranked one of the top 250 podcasts of all in the United States, Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I am talking to you just like I'm talking to you right now. I'm no different, whether you see me at my mailbox or you see me on my podcast. And so that's a great place. And of course, if you want to lose a little bit of weight, then 10poundtakedown.com is a great place to get started. 10 POUND takedown.com.
That's a great brand.
Yeah. Thank you.
By the way, the hair, when did that start? I'm dying to know.
I think I was just trying to remember. I had hair down to my butt about 3 years ago. And one day I called my sister. She's one of my sisters is a cosmetologist. I said, come over, let's shave my hair. And we just shaved it into a mohawk right then. All of it fell to the ground. And I've had a mohawk now for about 3 years.
Well, I mean, from brand standpoint alone, it's brilliant. I'm sure it wasn't for that reason. Was there an energy shift going on for you right then?
It must have been that, and things really started taking off when I got the mohawk, and it's so cool. I mean, I'm 44 and it's cool and I'm cool and everything, but someday it's going to be creepy. It's going to be weird. It's going to be that creepy old lady trying to rock the purple mohawk. And so that's why I'm really rocking it now. Cause someday, I'll always be a cool old lady, but someday, like I'm really trying to just get as many miles out of this mohawk as I can.
Enjoy it. It's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. All right. So give us your last bit here. Let's talk about 3 of your best pieces of advice, Cristy. These could be short tips, or you can go into a bit more if you'd like to.
Well, I wish I would have been able to think about this more. My 3 best pieces of advice. So health-wise, definitely, ladies, you need to drink your water and get your sleep. And if I can make it an even 3, because things are always better than 3, quit going through the drive-through. Let's just put that. 3 tips of the health part of get your sleep, drink your water, and quit going through the drive-through. If I were to give 3 business tips, I would start posting consistently on social media. You need to outsource, and you need to get some help on a business coach. You got to get someone that's going to keep you laser focused. So I didn't know which one to pick as far as,
I love it.
Those are kind of my health and my business tips right off, like bam, right there.
We love it. Cristy, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be following you online and getting motivated and getting some sleep.
Thanks so much, Allie. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Glambition Radio. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you automatically get new shows every week. And I'd love if you left us a review. We are on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and other platforms. And I'd love to hear from you. Come join the conversation online. You'll mostly find me on Instagram, but also on Facebook, Twitter, and more. Just head to alliebrown.com. You will find them all there. And you can also learn about upcoming opportunities to meet in person. Glambition Radio is the elevated conversation for women leaders, and I'm honored you've tuned in.